You're watching the TGM production. Hello and welcome to One Comedian, Eight Questions, the series where I interview people who are doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Now, there'll be some exciting news coming, and I'll mention that closer to the end. Now, today we've got another one, and today's date. This isn't here to scare anyone or frighten anyone, but it is the 3rd of August, which means most people's Edinburgh Fringe shows are either about to beginning, or are on the horizon within the next couple of days. So we're not trying to panic anyone, but that is the occurrence that's forming. But I digress. My guest today is best known for standing next to Stephen Mulhern on national telly on You Bet. It's the one and only Bella Humphries.
Hello.
So let's start off with question number one, the first and probably only time we'll actually know what number question we're on, because why else would I choose maths related things? So our first question decided by a wheel is, what is the key thing if you've done a solo show at the Fringe before, or if you've performed at the Fringe, what is one key thing you would or wouldn't change about doing the Fringe for the very first time?
Oh, what I would change or wouldn't change about doing the Fringe for the very first time, it would be comparing my success to other people. So
Yeah,
like when you're first doing your first run, it's very exciting. It's very like you've probably worked really, really hard and for a very long time to get there. And it's really easy to look at other people that are doing their first run or even their second one, their third run, whatever, and think, oh, I'm not doing as well as them, or mine's not going to be as good, or we're having a different experience. And you are having a different experience. Everybody comes from um, a different route into comedy. We've all got different lives outside of comedy. So we're all just running our own race. And that was one thing I would say that
yeah,
is a good thing to
yeah.
do.
Do you think that when you think about it outside of the Fringe, do you think that it's always good to not compare yourself to someone else to say, oh, they're doing really good, oh, mine's gonna be terrible, because you're doing your thing and they're doing their thing, regardless of what's going on, you just need to stick at your own thing.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And so when you decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the Fringe, had you had been up before to see shows, or were the first time you went to Edinburgh, the Fringe was to perform?
But I'd been up a few times before. I'd been up and I did a play when I was 19.
Yeah.
I was an actor. I grew up and I trained as an actor. So I did that, and I'd been a couple of times to do spots, and I did a split bill once before with someone who's already been on this YouTube channel before, Alice India. We did a split bill in 2018 together. So well, I'd been up a few times before, so I knew what to expect,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah. And I think in the years preceding, I think Edinburgh's got bigger. It feels like to me
Yeah.
when you watch clips of anyone in Edinburgh or in London, but it feels like it's like a fish tank that's about to explode. When you're there, do you notice that there's more people than you've ever expected?
Um, I mean, in the streets, yeah,
Yeah.
not always in your show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I've always said in life that those streets need to expand somehow, because it never looks like you're gonna fit that many people in.
Yeah,
You,
it's not a city built for that many people.
no. No, but it is very good if you wanted to go on a hike. You just need to stand in the main road.
Yeah.
You don't have to go that far. So, on that whimsical note, let's spin on to question numero two. Let's see what it's gonna be. So, in comedy, and especially in any career, but mainly, I think from what I can get, if you're in, I don't know, an accounting job or whatever, right, and send them 9 to 5, there's an easy route up, and there's not really much ambition, if you will, to get to the top, because obviously, if you just work hard enough, you'll get there. So it's quite straightforward. But in the world of that's a very poor generalization. But in the world of comedy, at this moment, because obviously when you get to that point, it changes. What's your current ambition for your comedy career? Because I know it'll change, but at this present moment, what do you think your ambition is?
My current ambition
Yeah,
is I want to take this show that I'm doing now at the Fringe. I want to take that on tour. It'll be my first ever tour.
yeah,
So yeah, that will be my current ambition is to yeah take it on tour. I've never
yeah.
done a tour before, so yeah, that will be like a big step for me. So that will be yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to and hopefully doing.
Yeah. And do you think that it's always good to have an ambition of something that's not too hard to achieve? So it's like someone might say, "Oh, I want to appear on Taskmaster," and then that's like the ambition of like 50 other odd million people. And do you think that it's better for you to have an ambition that's very easily doable?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's great to have like really big dreams. And like, there's been so many things that I've kind of, I have got the goals
Mm,
that are sort of much further in the future, but it's nice to have goals that are easily achievable within where you are currently, because if you, if you've always got goals but you never achieve them, it can be
yeah.
quite demoralizing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nice to have, yeah, like manageable goals and like easy wins sometimes. So sometimes like my one thing that I want to achieve,
Yeah.
I like to well, every time I go and I do when I do the Fringe,
Yeah.
every day I have a goal. And my goal often is just to like enjoy the show.
Yeah.
And so then that's, that sometimes that's hard, but most of the time
Yeah.
that's manageable and it
Yeah.
feels nice. It feels
Yeah.
good.
And if you enjoy the show, the audience will enjoy the show more because they can feel
You'd
the
hope
energy.
so.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
hope.
You would hope so. Because yeah, that would be really demoralizing if
It
the
would.
audience weren't enjoying it. But luckily, and I don't know if it happened. Luckily, no one requires to bring like tomatoes anymore and chucking them on stage. I
Yeah,
don't.
fingers crossed. I
Yeah,
don't want that.
fingers crossed. But I do know they do it in one. There's a venue. I don't know where, but there is a venue that allows people to hurtle fruit at someone.
Nice.
Which I think is either for tradition or because they really think it'd be funny just to annoy the performers. I don't know, but I mean, it should be outlawed. There should be a sheriff that bans any tomatoes because I don't know why it's always tomatoes. You can use any other vegetable, but I don't know why it's a tomato. And so on that note, before we get tomato everywhere, let's spit on what a very awful way of segueing, but that's where we're at. So since you started comedy, how do you think the industry has changed since you began your comedy journey?
I would say everything is a lot more online
Yeah,
since I started doing comedy. Like when I first started doing comedy, I just started doing comedy in 2017, I
yeah,
think it was. Instagram was obviously a thing,
hmm,
but it wasn't like as big a thing as it is now.
yeah,
It wasn't like, oh, you've got to do clips and you've got to have, thousands and thousands of followers to be on this thing, or and there wasn't so much of a kind of it wasn't so like intrinsically linked with the internet,
yeah, yeah,
whereas it is now. And I think that's, you kind of almost have to become a content creator as well as a comedian,
yeah.
as part of your career, which is something I really struggle with. So it's yeah, that's definitely a really big thing that's changed, I think.
Yeah. And do you think that it's slightly demoralizing for the people that can't get clips or don't have clips because they're being pestered all the time? Get clips, get clips. Do you think that that's demoralizing for people that aren't able to do that?
I can imagine it can be, yeah. And it definitely, there's definitely a certain amount of people that just isn't something that they're able to do. And maybe they, like lots of people aren't like that great with technology and it's not something that they're sort of naturally gifted
Yeah.
at. And yeah, so I think it's definitely difficult for certain people.
Yeah. And I like the fact that since clips have become a thing, I like the fact that someone And I don't know if it's a general thing, but I like the fact that someone coined the phrase "a clip comedian,"
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
sounds to me like it's a comedian that only works in between a minute, 60 seconds, or 30-second increments. To just walk on stage, talk for 30 seconds, and they're off. Um, but that could be someone's whole show, just saying 30-second base things called the Clip Comedian's Guide to Telling 30-second jokes. And then obviously he filmed it all prior, and then everyone's just watching 30-second clips.
And that will
That
keep people's attention because
yeah,
that's about people's attention span.
yeah, yeah. And do you think that it's good that some comedy companies, not all of them, but some of them are now bringing in that world of where they're going to film it because they know that it's what the industry is
For
sort
sure.
of requiring.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, if you can't beat them, join them. Like,
Yeah,
give people, it's great when you like, there's loads of clubs that do it now that they will film your sets and they will obviously say to you, like, they either are going to put it online themselves
yeah,
or, which is a dream because then you don't have to do anything.
yeah,
Um, or they will send it to you and so then you can use it however you want, which
yeah,
is like really helpful because, um, not everybody has access to being able to like have a really good camera
yeah,
setup. And not that you need a good camera setup, like you can just, use your phone and stuff, but
yeah,
it just makes it a little bit easier and it gives everyone that opportunity. And also, I often just forget,
yeah,
like in the rush of like getting to the gig and then like doing the, like, you just think, oh, I've just completely forgotten to like set up a tripod and like do the filming. And they're like, oh, well, that's done now. It's over.
yeah.
So if someone's already filming it, it's great.
Yeah, and if they post it on their social media, I was trying to think of the correct word, but I'm an old man. Um, and do you think that it helps you as a comedian because not only does it save the hassle of you doing it yourself, but it also boosted it because they might have a large following to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of it's sort of throwing it out to people that are already interested in seeing clips of
Yeah,
comedy as opposed to like um you know my following or like the
yeah,
people that follow me, most of them are. But it depending on like sort of how far into your career you are or like what else you've been doing or
yeah,
what other things it is because it's a very different thing doing if you do like sketches or
yeah,
you do just like funny person on the internet kind of videos like just talking but you're funny.
yeah,
That's a very different thing that people want to watch as
yeah,
opposed to stand up, and that doesn't always translate. If like you could get loads of followers watching your videos where you're just like that funny person
yeah.
but then they're not actually interested in coming and watching you live.
Yeah, yeah, because I think you could get trapped in a way where you're doing a gag where you're talking, and then it's next minute it's still you, but you're wearing a wig, and then that's not what you do on stand up. I do think
Yeah,
that
you could.
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
exactly. And like 100%, it could be like people love those videos that you do
Yeah,
like that, but actually, what you do on stage is something completely different, and
yeah,
people aren't interested in that. And so then it's like it's really a different, like a difficult kind of switch up of like you've got all these people interested in
yeah,
you, but they don't want to come and watch your work, and
yeah,
that's yeah,
yeah. So I think
tricky.
Yeah, so I think it's like I can't remember his name. I can picture his face, because that's very helpful.
Yes.
But but I think it's his sister. I'd be awful if it isn't. But they do that thing where they like pretend they're such a body backing singers, and
Oh
and
yes. Oh my
yeah.
God, I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, what's the problem with him is that the fact that he does that, he's really popular, but then I don't think that's what he is like on stage. I don't think he does that for a whole hour, because
No.
that would probably get boring after 20, 40 more minutes. But I do think that that's the thing, so it's like a drastic shift. And I think you notice that online is like, that really works really well online. Well, will that audience come and watch him if he does like a standard, well, not standard, but he does like a what perceived as tradition of the modern circuit. And do you think that that's another issue because there's some one type of thing might be popular that they do online, but then it might not be their cup of tea on stage?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think what's a really like good idea is just to always like if you're doing these is just like them like pop in like little
Yeah,
clips of you doing stand up just to remind people like this is what I do on
yeah,
stage. Um yeah.
But I think it's so interesting, and like it's amazing people being able to get these followings from doing stuff. Like fair play to them. Like I haven't been able to do that.
yeah,
Um, but it's yeah, just a very very tricky thing to manage, I think.
yeah. Yeah, and what he could do is just start at the very beginning, the very name dip popping in and saying, I don't do this on stage. I am on tour, but I don't do this on stage. And then at the end, just to carry out, that isn't what I do on stage. I do that online because it's fun, but it isn't what he could do that just to make it clear.
For a bit of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just him just popping in. He interrupts Shania Twain. Because he sometimes does it with the actual artist, which I think is more impressive because they
Oh
want
my
to
God, it's
be
amazing. It's so
involved.
cool.
Yeah, and just think that that helps to boost yourself because obviously, oh, that's really funny. I'll follow them, and I think it helps because some people, proper comedy fans, will then go, oh, he does stand up, and then go, oh, I'll go and visit that, and I think that that's what's
I think
good
so,
about the
yeah.
internet.
And I think, there's, I think sort of 9 times out of 10, when you see somebody that is doing these things, they
Yeah,
probably do stand up.
yeah,
Because that's, this is just a way of them, like, kind of, having an outlet online
yeah,
that isn't just putting clips of their stand up, because you don't want to be putting loads of clips of your
yeah,
stand up out there. Well, I personally don't, because I kind of feel like once it's online, I'm not going to use it on stage,
yeah, yeah,
because then people will have seen it. And
yeah,
I'm at the point where I'm only just doing my second hour, so I don't have heaps of
yeah,
material to
yeah,
be like chucking
yeah.
online.
And you want to savor it so that when people come and see you
For
live,
sure.
they're not going, oh, I remember that, and you're not getting groans instead of
Yeah, and I'll be like,
just
oh, I've seen this before, because I'm
yeah,
not like, when you're not a famous comedian, I'm not Peter Kay.
yeah,
People aren't asking me to do like
yeah,
specific bits. I'm not
yeah,
Mickey Flanagan, like having people being like, oh, do out out.
yeah,
Like they don't want to hear something they've heard before. They want to hear
yeah,
something new.
yeah. I'm not Michael McIntyre. Don't make me do Mandrill.
Yeah,
Which,
exactly.
which before we do move on, I did see a really funny clip of Victoria Angelino. I've said his last name horrendously wrong, but he took the mickey out of the fact that Michael McIntyre does the Mandrill thing, and the audience were a little bit like, oh, they were shocked, and then he had to make it clear that it's not going to damage Michael McIntyre's career if he's taking the mickey out of Michael McIntyre.
No,
But you can tell the audience who's a Michael McIntyre fan who isn't.
no stop.
I think that's something someone could do on stage. Just spend the whole hour just coming up with like how do you upset as many people as possible about these famous comedians and see who's a fan. So then you could just work out what type of material you need to give them because you can put it in a generator and go, well, they like that comedian, they like that comedian. Let's think of
100%,
something
yeah.
in between. So on that note, as we spin on for our next question on our spinning wheel of spinningness, what's it gonna be? Ooh. So from your own personal experience and opinion, how do you think that the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, how do you think it can improve from your own either personal experience or personal opinion?
It needs to stop being so expensive. The point of entry needs to stop being so expensive that it is um, pushing out working class comedians and performers and artists, and making it so that only people that have got financial backing um, can do well. Like you can still do well as somebody
Yeah,
that doesn't have financial backing, but you're not um, you're not having the same experience as somebody that doesn't have that, as people that are like, it is just unbearably expensive, and it it's kind of taken away from what a fringe festival should be.
yeah,
You can't really go up and take as many risks anymore,
yeah,
because the financial risk you're taking is already huge, whether that be money that you are personally spending yourself, or money that somebody is spending on your behalf, say your agent or your production company, which you then obviously owe them afterwards.
yeah,
Um, and so it, like, just to put into like context, like when I went in 2024,
mm,
my rent, or like the rent I spent on my accommodation, the amount of money I spent on my accommodation was £2,000,
wow,
which is more money than I was earning a month in my day job that I had.
and that was just for one of my expenses. Like I was super lucky.
Yeah.
I got one of the Keep It Fringe Fund grants
Yeah.
in 2024 when I went, which was super helpful. Like it was about, I think it's £1,500, which was so helpful and allowed me to, get some stuff that
Yeah.
like I wouldn't have been able to afford otherwise. Um, but not everybody has access to that, and the sort of disparity between people that have the all the money in the world to throw at it and
Mm.
the people that don't is massive. And um yeah, it isn't like you're not going to make money at the
Yeah.
fringe, and that's fine. But it is, I think if we still want it to be this kind of hub of, and like this place to go and
Yeah.
to get better and to be seen and to be, um to like make moves within your career, the point of entry and access has to be more equitable.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think that you mentioned there about the funds and grants and whatnot, but do you think that because I read that I think I read must have been this year, but they were giving out more funding. But do you think that these grants and funds, do you think that that's a step forward for other companies that want to help younger artists, like Red Bull, for example? They were getting involved. Do you think that that's really helpful for younger artists that want like yourself that want to get the into the fringe and want to be able to try out the craft at this well-regarded festival?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like we shouldn't be at the point where the only way that people feel that they can access this festival is by getting a grant. And I know that there's lots of people that probably have been holding out hope for the grant and then not got it, and then that maybe like ends their road to
Yeah.
Edinburgh. It should be more affordable. So there's plenty of other festivals in the UK um, that are brilliant and that get really good crowds and are really well run, and you have the opportunity to do your show like multiple times if you
Yeah.
want to, that aren't as expensive as the Edinburgh
Yeah.
Fringe. Um, and it is unfortunate that uh, it has got to this point, because the sort of the mix of people that you're able to see there just isn't the same as what it used to be.
Yeah.
And also, it's expensive for punters to come. So then you're not getting the same audiences that you once would get, because if the performers are paying thousands of pounds on
Yeah.
their accommodation, where do you think punters are staying? Like, they're trying to stay in the same places. And if you are trying to go to the Fringe for like a week and it's going to cost you a few grand,
Yeah.
you're probably just going to go abroad for
Yeah.
less money and not go to the Fringe.
Yeah, and do you think that, and I don't know why I keep mentioning Brighton because I can't think of any others, but do you think that places like Brighton Fringe, do you think the Edinburgh Fringe can learn from the way they're run? Because I think that Brighton, to me, is the other most well-known one, and they seem to have everything, from what I can gather from a distance, have everything not as expensive as the Fringe. But do you think the Fringe can learn from other festivals like Brighton and so forth and so on?
I think, yeah, definitely it can. I think it just needs like a little bit of I understand that festivals are really expensive to run, and they are, obviously Edinburgh is a very big festival. It's massive, and it's taking over an entire city for a whole month. So I do completely understand there are reasons for a lot of these expenses, but it definitely needs a bit of sort of reconfiguring and reshuffling. You know, the even just the amount of money that it
Yeah.
costs to register your show
Yeah.
is quite a lot, and you don't really get a lot for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully hopefully whoever is running Edinburgh Fringe, whatever person or selection of people that are running it understand that, because I've been hearing about cost over the last few years, and the more people that you hear about it, it's surprising me that Edinburgh or whoever runs it is ever actually considered that, because it seems like more and more people are talking about it, and you see it online, and that seems to be the big thing. And so very occasionally you see on BBC News, but it's weird that Edinburgh haven't done anything about it. And do you think it's because they can see more of a benefit for them rather than for everyone else?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Um, and as much as I know people are doing the fringe less and less, people are still doing it.
Yeah,
There'll always be people that will spend that money and that will do it. It's just that the people that will do it are a certain, like, sort of group of people.
yeah,
And so for the fringe society and the people that are running it, until everybody stops doing it,
yeah,
it isn't going to change.
yeah. Yeah, and I do think that even though everyone's strategy would be ideal for them to say, oh, we need to change the pricing, I just don't think people are just too tempted at the idea. They want to chase it. But I do think that is there was a bloke last year that did a protest where he said he was putting on a show, but he wasn't going to be there. Um, which was rather interesting, because he was trying to say, well, he was trying to protest the fact that it was too expensive. But what the problem was, is the whole idea of the show was you were going and you didn't know if he was going to be there or not. But then, as I've mentioned previously in interviews, Chortle decided to spoil that and say he's not going to be there.
Yeah, they just ruin all the fun, total.
Yeah, yeah. And I do think what's really interesting, and I'll move on in a second, but I don't know, once there was some news about Ali G was making a new film, and the picture I was looking at was going, I didn't know Peter Kay was Ali G. It was just Peter Kay's face and that was the comments. One of the comments was, I didn't know Ali G was created by Peter Kay, and they never do anything about it. Chortle never do anything about it. They have a loop of Peter Kay photos that they love using, but.
Yeah, they just have like 10 stock photos, I think, that they use, and the photo is never anything to do with what the article is about.
Yeah, yeah. And there was like a comedian that tragically passed away, and Peter Kay's face was used. I thought that's a little bit insensitive.
Yes, just a little bit.
Just a tad bit awful. But British Comedy Guide wouldn't make that mistake. But I'm not saying either or are better than each other. And on that note, let's spin the wheel before I get myself in any trouble. Because that isn't my aim in life. Oh, so as you've said, that 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 this is your second hour. Now, from where you're at now in your journey with the Fringe, what advice would you give someone that may be performing at the Fringe for the very first time?
Um, don't treat it like a party. Um, treat it like work because it is. Um, but also have fun. Um, and run your own race. You know, give yourself clear goals for what you want to achieve throughout the fringe. Not what other people you want, what you think other people think you should want to achieve, but what you want to achieve. And stick with that. And then at the end, see, oh, how did I do? The fringe is very exhausting and very overstimulating and very full on, and it can be a lot. So don't feel like you have to do everything.
Mm,
You don't have to do all the spots, and you don't have to go to all of the after party. You don't have to go to all the parties
yeah,
and all of the social things. Like, just do what is right for you, and uh, remember that it's your experience and not anybody else's. So if it's not something that you think is going to benefit you, just don't do it. Like, it's not worth it.
yeah. And I do think that's a good thing to say, to treat it like work, because if you have like a 9 to 5 job, you sometimes, or you're at school, you don't really want to be getting really hammered on a school night because you're at work the next day. And if you're performing, that's you making all the noise that's gonna go, oh, just turn it down, and you realise that's your own voice that's causing the
Exactly.
headache. So
No, for sure. And I mean, obviously, like, do have fun because it,
yeah,
it is supposed to be fun and it's great. And like, it's so nice because when you're on the circuit, like, especially as a woman, you don't get to see your friends that much
yeah,
because it's so rare that I'm on the same gig as, lots of my friends. And there's a few people that I see regularly, but there's really not. Then everyone lives all over the country. Like, I live in Cardiff now, but I've lived all over, and so I've made friends kind of all over. And I, I do the whole UK circuit, so you kind of meet everyone from everywhere, and so it's really nice to see everybody and hang out. And um, yeah, it's so great and it's so much fun, and it's just like everyone gets to see each other, and it's really nice to catch up with people. But
Yeah,
catching up with people doesn't mean you have to have 10 pints.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and just remember to like look after your brain,
yeah,
because it is a marathon, not a
yeah.
sprint.
Yeah, and I do think that what's interesting about the Fringe is that I think it must be one of the only times in a city's life or a town. It's regardless of whether or not it's a city or town, but where a load of performers are there, because then all the restaurants still open, because all these people are going, if we stay up until after midnight, we're gonna make our killing. So I do think that that's one of the key benefits, that if you wanted to have an Indian or a Chinese, and you were panicking, oh, is it going to be open? Yes, it'll be open. You have to have that chicken korma before you go to bed, which I don't know whether or not that's a bad idea or not, but that'd be
Mhm.
the wrong fault. But do you think that's what's good about the Fringe itself? Because all the restaurants and all the cafes, all the venues to eat in are still open, so that even if you finish 12 midnight, whatever, you can still get something to eat.
Yeah, it's great. And like, I think obviously I know it's like a real upheaval for the locals and stuff. And they don't all love it, but it is great for business, like all those bit like they're making, so like Edinburgh, if you go outside of the Fringe, it is a very quiet city and it is lovely.
Yeah,
It's really nice, but it is very quiet. And so I think, yeah, it's amazing that yeah, they're all there and open and stuff. And it must be like such a good time for
yeah.
all the businesses.
So for 1 month in the year, you can have an Indian at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to do that?
Dream.
I mean, the chef probably doesn't want to be doing that at 1 in the morning.
No, it doesn't know.
No, but if it keeps the performers happy, that's all that matters. So on that nom nom note, we shall spin on. That needs to be a banned word, nom nom nom. Why does that exist? Oh, right, and we've had a repeat. Let's spin again. Let's spin again. Let's see if we've got a fresh question. Ooh. So, very similar to what we were talking about, but more in a general sense. For anyone that's decided to stand up for the first time, from your experience and from what you've learned over the course of your career that's ever growing, um, what advice would you give someone that wants to try out to stand up and do the comedy for the first time?
Just do it. Like, just get up and do it. You can think about it forever.
Mm,
Just get up and do it. Write 5 minutes, find a local open mic night or whatever it is, and just get up and do it.
yeah,
Um, because the joy of stand up comedy is not in the sitting at home thinking about it.
yeah,
It is in the being in the room, doing it, hearing real people in real life laughing at jokes that you wrote and that came from your own brain. And it's so fun and
yeah,
so amazing. And yeah, it's very easy to lose sight of like why you first started doing it, but just do it.
yeah,
Um, because then you can get a real sense of like, well, do you actually like it?
yeah,
Did you enjoy it? Like, is this for you? And like, you won't know straight away probably. Um, and there'll be ups and downs, and I've had plenty of ups and downs where I've decided that this isn't for me anymore, and then
yeah.
I've been like, oh no, of course it is what you like. But yeah, just get up, do it, and give it a go, because you'll never know unless you actually get up there.
Yeah, and I do think that stand-up's one of those things that's always on people's bucket list, because they
Mhm.
always say, "Oh, stand-up's the scariest thing you can do," because they think that doing stand-up instead of telling jokes is a lot more scary than heart surgery.
Yeah.
I would say heart surgery is more scary because you've got someone's life in your hands rather than just a couple of people laughing. But I think that that's what's interesting about stand-up, and it's one of those things that everyone thinks about doing, but
Mhm.
it's only the ones that do it that get a sense of and that get a sense of whether or not they think it's for them. And do you think that that's what's good about comedy, is that you don't really need to be in it to win it, because you only get, if you do a certain amount of gigs, then you get to the paid area, so you get to just go on and go, yeah, I'll give it a go, because it won't cost you anything, and it won't and you might feel a little bit demoralised that no one laughed, but that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, obviously we were just talking about Edinburgh and like it being expensive and like, but with stand up in general, the bar to entry is
Yeah,
so accessible. Like it's really the bar is like quite low. You can really just like anyone can do it.
yeah,
Um, and so like not everyone can be good at it, but everyone can
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
And so it is easy to. There's so many open mic nights. There's so many places you can go and do it. And so yeah, it's really easy to just like get up and give it a go. Obviously, I know some people have, different like barriers to entry,
yeah.
but just in general, it is easy to just find somewhere to go, write your 5 minutes, go and do it.
Yeah, and I think it's very welcoming. There's not any people being prudish about the fact that you need to do this to be able to do it. But
No,
it's just good that you can do it, no matter how good your set is. If you want to try it out and you think, oh, I think this is good, just do it because it's irrelevant whether or not it is good because you're trying something out that you think you might enjoy.
100%. Yeah. And like it doesn't have to be your career. You can just give it a go for
Yeah,
fun. And if you want, like there's plenty of courses out there as well. If you think maybe doing a course in a sort of more like
yeah,
a more sort of safe and like sort of learning environment would be for you, then there's
yeah,
plenty of courses as well. And there's some like really good courses that some comedians run that are really, really helpful. And yeah, and also like for other, all different levels of your career, like yeah, there's loads of good stuff out there. So if you think that's maybe something that you would benefit from more, then you can also do that. And then also there's always usually like some kind of showcase at the end where you
yeah,
get up and um you do the actual the stand up.
yeah,
I really recommend I did the Soho Lab when
yeah,
I was not when I first started. I've been doing stand up for like a year or so, and I did that and that was amazing and that was yeah really really good. So
yeah.
that's what I would really recommend.
Yeah, and what's interesting is because these comedy courses you hear about them and you think, oh, that sounds really interesting. There's a really good film starring Patrick Kilty where he plays a character. Obviously, he'll be playing a character, but he plays a character that does a stand-up comedy course.
Oh no way.
But he's going through all this like it helps him mentally because he's had a lot of problems and he looks like someone that's at his end of his tether. He's drinking a lot, he's doing all this, and he's destroying his life. But it's
That
all
sounds like a lot of comedians.
yeah, but it's in the basis of he's on this course, and this course, in the end of it, will make him be a better person because he's not doing it because he wants to be da 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 famous, but he's doing it because he's been told that that's what will bring back his confidence. And I
Oh
think
great, yeah.
something like that showcases to a wider audience that anyone can do comedy, and it doesn't have to be for a particular goal. It could be for as we've been saying, this feeling that you want to have confidence in yourself. You want to
For
be able
sure.
to talk to an audience because once you've broken that barrier, that might help you in further life outside of the world of giggling and laughing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just being able to like get up on stage and do like public any sort of public speaking is quite a big deal for a lot of people and it's something that not everybody has had to do in their life. And so yeah, that can be really helpful.
Yeah. And what really annoys me at this point is I can never remember the name of the film. Even if I did know the name of the film, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it because I think if it's the name of a very specific Northern Irish town, and so it's got a
Um,
lot of it's several different ways of probably how to pronounce it, but it looks different than probably how it sounds, uh, which is a slight problem because that's what happens when you decide to mention something that you later realise you're not going to be able to follow through on the end of
yeah,
it. Patrick Kilty's in it, and you can probably just find that online.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, but he's a very good actor as well as being very good in everything he does. But he's very good in this film because it proves the point as I've been
Yeah.
saying. It just proves the point that doesn't really need proving, but to an outside audience, it just does say, well, there's benefits in this. It's not anything. But on that note, let's spin the wheel to what I believe might be question four, but I don't know anymore. Let's see what it'll be. So, one of the key things that every person at the Fringe has to do is make a poster. Now, for you personally, whether or not you do it by yourself or whether or not you work with excellent I'm going to call them poster makers or graphic designers. It depends on what they want to categorize, or artists, depending on what categorization they want to be lobbed into that week. How long does it take to make your Edinburgh Fringe poster?
Um, so this time around, I made it myself. My partner is very good at photography, so he did my photos for
Yeah,
me. And in my poster this year, I am in a children's play park on the slide.
yeah,
And so we went to our local park at 6:30 in the morning so that there were no children.
yeah,
Um, and it didn't take too long,
yeah,
thankfully. It took like I did it within a day, sort of. So yeah, not too long. But I've had other posters in the past made by other people, and yeah, that sometimes takes longer, mainly because they're better at
yeah,
graphic design than I am.
yeah,
And they do like a lot more stuff. I had some stuff that was like hand drawn before,
yeah.
and that took a little bit longer. But yeah, it just took me like a day to do.
Yeah, and I do think that it's always interesting when you decide to come up with an idea like doing it in children's play because you realise, right, I'm gonna have to get there incredibly early so that it doesn't look really weird. And
Yes.
I do think what makes it funnier is as passers by can just see they don't know what's going on and
No.
it's completely innocent, but you can just see someone taking photos going, What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Hey,
Thankfully, it was like very quiet. So
yeah,
and we did that on purpose
yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah, it looked weird otherwise.
Yeah, and it also makes people realise why there's no adult play parks. Why is it only for children?
Yeah.
Adults, a lot of adults, like yourself, want to go down a slide. A lot of people want to do the monkey bars.
Exactly.
Yeah, and some parks I know of have gyms in them now as well.
They do. Yeah. My local park doesn't have that, but I have seen them around.
Yeah, and what I find, which I think is hilarious, is the kids are more interested in the gym area than
Yeah.
the actual park. It's like, but why? Why would you be more interested in doing a row or doing one of those like little like bike things that
Because they're like cats.
yeah,
Kids are
yeah,
like cats. You give them a toy and they want the box.
yeah, and that's why some parents are happy when kids get obsessed with sticks,
Yeah.
because that makes a Christmas present. You just wrap up a stick. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a dog. That's what the humans and dogs have got very much in common. They both love sticks and
Love sticks.
squirrels.
Yeah.
Sticks, squirrels, and maybe badgers, but it from a distance.
Love
But on that note, let's spin on to our next question. And I'm not even going to say what number it is because I'm just going to make that up later on. And we spin on because we've had a repeat. It's a world of I'm going to call it probability, but that might not be the one.
sticks.
And again, we've had a repeat. Well done, Mr. Will. Let's try and spin that harder. But how do you spin a digital wheel harder? Who actually knows? So we've got a fresh question. Well done, Mr. Wheel. Now, so far in your career, life, or journey of spirituality, depending on what word you think best chooses the best way to phrase it. But how has comedy or performing, it's up to you which avenue you want to take. How has doing what you do now changed your life?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, well, it's changed my life in that I have met so many people that I would never have met. I've made friends with loads of people that I would never have met in my life if I hadn't done stand up. I've been to so many places that I would never have been to
Yeah.
if I didn't do stand up, like Hull. And I've been like able to go to like do really cool things, like go to festivals, and also be able to like take my partner with me, or my friends to things that yeah we wouldn't have been able to go to if I hadn't done stand up. So yeah, it's like really allowed me a lot of opportunities um that I wouldn't have been granted if I didn't do stand up or performing. And yeah, I think it's made me sort of a more like rounded person. I there's a lot of people from very different walks of life that I've met,
Yeah,
um, that I would never met if
yeah,
I do stand up. So yeah, it's been amazing and so great, and yeah, I feel so lucky to be doing it.
yeah. And this is not to upset anyone of this place here, but before you did comedy, had you ever been told before? Because it doesn't scream like a place you would do once you've done comedy. It seems like a place you would go once and go, all right, okay,
I'm actually gonna. So I've actually been. I had been to Hull before.
yeah,
My granny used to live in Hull, so I'd been there. But I I will not lie. There is actually some really lovely gigs in Hull. They
yeah,
are great. They're great people. It gets a really bad rap actually, but they have lovely. They also have a lovely comedy festival,
yeah,
which is very good. Um, so yeah, I would actually really recommend that.
yeah,
Anyone out there that wants to do a fun festival, it's far away from most places,
yeah,
but Hull Comedy Festival, lovely. Big
yeah,
shout out to Hull Comedy Festival. But yeah, there's some places are less nice than others,
yeah,
and places that you may not want to visit, and you only go sort of drive in, drive out. There's nothing to
yeah,
see there,
yeah,
but that's the joy, isn't it?
yeah.
That's the fun of it all.
Yeah, and I think in recent years, from what I can get, so previously, I think Hull, you wouldn't really think much about Hull, right? And then I think in recent years, because of the invention of some new comedy programs in Hull, such as Hull Raisers, that bizarrely, I can't remember what country, but it's not originally British, based on another program, and it from I think it's
Okay.
like somewhere else. Like I'm gonna say somewhere near Egypt or whatever. That and like
Oh,
so
nice.
far, so far out, and it just makes me laugh that when they decided to adapt it to Britain, they thought let's set it in Hull because I think that that's a unique place to do it. If you say
Yeah,
Birmingham, you think, oh, that's not that unique because doctors and whatnot and other programs set in the Birmingham area. But I think that that's what's good about Hull in recent years is that it's had more of a starring role because it's had Hull and Back on Radio 4, and then it had Hull Raisers on Channel 4, and then Lucy Bowman keeps saying the word Hull every time she's on TV, so it gets a good
everyone's showing that. Yeah, everyone's thinking about it. It's in the public consciousness.
yeah. But do you think that that's what's good about comedy is that places like Hull that you might not have been heard of before and might not have been before is now becoming a lot more resurgent because more people want to have more stories from other places that isn't just London.
Absolutely, and I think that yeah, it's really important that we have um, we hear more voices from everywhere, and that the industry isn't just London centric, because it really isn't the majority of the industry. So, and yeah, it isn't accessible for everybody. And yeah, there's so many cool places in the UK, and there's so many interesting people that have come from everywhere. So, yeah, we want to make sure that all those voices are being heard.
Yeah. And so on that wonderful note, we're gonna go from Hull back to the wheel. What
Back
a
to the
poor,
wheel.
what a poor job. That's like the world's worst pun I've ever heard, and it came out of my mouth. I've heard a lot of bad ones. So let's spin on before we dig ourselves in any more of a Hull-shaped hole. Let's see what it will be. Oh, so when you've finished a show and you're like, yeah, I've done Edinburgh now, how far in advance are you thinking about your next book? How far are you thinking your next show to say, right, I need to book that on now? How far in advance? Because I've been hearing stories of it getting earlier and earlier. So for you personally, at what point do you then book in next year's Fringe?
Well, I remember sort of coming home from the Fringe in 2024 and being like, I I've got an idea for my next show.
Yeah,
Like about 2 days after I'd come home, but I knew I didn't want to do it the year after to
yeah,
2025. So I knew I was going to do 2026.
yeah,
Um, so I guess I didn't really book it that far in advance, because I sort of then I'm like notoriously bad for like being organized.
yeah,
So I'm quite a last minute merchant, but I was really thinking about it, and I already knew that I wanted to do it in 2026. So I guess 2 years.
Yeah. And do you think that when you're going to book the venue you want, you think that's the hardest thing to do because you think in the back of your mind, oh, I want to do this venue, but then you will have a start realization that how many other people want to do that venue at that slot. Do you think that's a problem with the Fringe in a booking sense because so many people want to do that venue you want to, and it's hard to decide how do you get there early enough to be able to go, I want that now.
Yeah, it's really tricky, and yeah, it's really hard
Yeah,
with there's so many people, there's so many venues, but there's obviously more people than venues, and it is difficult. I think I've been very lucky in the way that I've managed to get some really lovely venues to be able to do, and I'm very excited this year to be doing the venue that I'm doing, but yeah, I think it can be really, really tricky. But I think people need to remember that there's venues outside of the big five. Like you don't
yes,
have to do those ones.
yeah.
There's other venues.
Yeah, and I think I think one of my top three favorite things about the Fringe is that when you because I've spoken to a lot of people and I know a lot about the Fringe is when you find out that someone's an office block has been turned into a venue and you
Yeah,
think
I love it.
that is like the greatest thing ever because Edinburgh know they've run out of room. They've had to like say to that company for this month, can you not work here? We just want to add some comedians to do it, or it's like Arthur's Hill or Arthur's Seat. I think that's what it's called. The best bit is like Barry Ferns turning that into a venue.
Yeah, so good.
And just walking up with the door and then having tourists come by and say,
So
is this
good.
Arthur's Seat? And he went, you've just walked through the venue and then got it onto Google Maps. And I just think that all that helps make the Fringe incredible because not only are people performing, you might be performing in a disused toilet. That might
Exactly.
be a men's urinal.
Exactly. And that's where I'll be taking my show next year.
Yeah, yeah. I do think there should be like a starter pack, and it's like top 10 venues you want to perform in, but top 10 venues you have to perform in, which is like a disused toilet, a disused portaloo, or someone's
Yeah.
back garden. It's top 10
Yeah.
list of venues. Because I just think it makes a Fringe more interesting if you then have to get BBC News to say, oh, we've got this comedian. Where are you performing? Well, I'm performing in somewhere where 3 hours ago someone was just having a poo, and now I'm
Yeah.
going to be performing in that exact same cubicle because why not? And
Yeah.
that just adds to the comic value that is the Fringe. So, on that note, let's spin on to our final spinning question on this wheel I like to call wheel, because what else am I gonna call it? Let's see what it is. And we've had a repeat, so let's spin on.
A lot of repeats, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of repeats because it's fate. Oh, so we've landed on the question we all want to know. We've landed on the question that makes this format. And we've landed it at the perfect moment as well. So, would you be able to let the viewers, the people, the peeps, the humans, anyone that's watching this now and forever, what is your 2026 Edinburgh Fringe show all about? Thank you very much.
My 2026 Edinburgh show is, well, it's called Big Sister Energy. It is about being an older sister. I am the oldest of seven. I'm a big sister to many. And it is about how being a big sister has shaped my life, who I am. And it is also about why I've decided to be child free by choice, and not have any children, and what being a child free woman in this day and age is like. And it's also about many other things, like pole dancing and performing arts and my nephew, and yeah, being a kid. It's it's about loads of stuff, but yeah, it's mainly about being a big sister
Yeah,
and how that has shaped who I am.
yeah. And what time and what days is the show on from and until?
So it starts on the 7th of August, so that is Friday, and it's on to the 18th. So I'm just doing 2 weeks, and it's on at 3:45 every single one of those days at Hoots 4 at the Apex on Grassmarket.
And do you have any days off, or have you decided not to do that?
No days off, baby, because I'm doing a short run.
Yeah,
So I'm going in hard, and then I'm gonna come home
yeah,
while everyone else is still there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just be sat over and losers, I'm done.
Exactly. I'm
Woo.
going. No, I'm going till the 18th, and then I'm going to come home, and then I'm going to the Green Man Festival. Uh,
Wow, that's like drastic. I thought
Very
you would.
drastic change. I'll be
Yeah,
performing at that as well. So, but not my show,
wow.
just a little set. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
But in between that, I don't know if anyone actually does this, right? This might just be a turn of phrase, but will you be in a dark room trying to not speak to anyone before you have to then go off again to do more performing?
Potentially. Yeah, I'll just be lying down for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And with your show, uh, is where can people? That is the word I was looking for. Where can be? It's very hard to find words when you're not Susie Kent. Because she's got the dictionary in front of her. But
Exactly.
yeah, but where can people purchase the tickets?
So people can purchase the tickets from the Ed Fringe website. They can go to the link in my on my Instagram, which is hella.bumpfreeze, which is my name with the two front initials turned around. Um, and yeah, so just search on the Ed Fringe website, which is still quite unusable.
Yeah,
If you just search my name, Bella Humphries, it will come up. There's only two Bellas doing the Fringe, Bella Hull, Bella Humphries.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
we're always next to each other on things because our
yeah,
names are almost alphabetically the exact same.
yeah, yeah. And what I really when you organise these things, I hate that they use alphabetical order for your last name because for me, when you're in an order of things, because my
Yeah, you might be near
first
the
letter
end.
is a T and then there's an M, I'm thinking, oh, I'll be really high up. No, no, I'm near the bottom.
Yeah.
Near the bottom.
So what they do for their fringe, like for the listings, is they go from the first letter of the title, which is why so many numbers go first,
Yeah.
which is why loads of people do numbers at the front of their things, or they do ah.
Yeah, because they want to get there in front. That
But
is,
thankfully, I just put my name at the front, and
yeah,
my name begins with a B, so I'm fairly near the top.
genius marketing. And will people, is there anywhere on site, if someone thinks themselves on the day, oh, I want to buy a ticket, and the one of those many technophobes is what the technical term is, I assume, or germaphobes, but that's different. Is there anywhere they can go and purchase tickets on the day if they feel like they want to come?
Yeah, they should be able to go to the box office. I would think at
Yeah,
Hoots, there's probably a box office, so you can go and get them there, or maybe Fringe Central, you could probably get them there.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say that works.
yeah,
And if in doubt, go to the venue and ask them because they are brilliant. Hoots is an amazing, is run so well.
yeah.
Rick that runs it is amazing, and yeah, he does such a good job. So, and everyone that works there is brilliant. So yeah, just go and ask them, and they should be able to help you
Yeah.
out.
And are you looking forward to the show, or are you nervous because you're not slightly ready yet?
Both. Um, I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. It feels um like such a privilege to be able to perform at the Fringe, and I love doing it, but I'm also terrified, because yeah, this is something I really care about, so it's very nerve-wracking putting it
Yeah,
out into the wild.
yeah. And do you think that as as a as being a sibling, being the older sibling, which I wouldn't know anything about because I'm the youngest sibling, um, I'm
So
sort of
like,
I'm sort of here doing something very interesting. My brother is as well, but on different levels. Mine's more public. I'm not saying who's better, me. But as an older sibling, do you think you've got to stand out more because obviously the cliche is that once someone else comes along, you sort of lose that limelight as much.
oh, for sure, yeah, that's why I do stand up because I've always had to shout to have my voice heard,
Yeah,
so I might as well just take it on stage, you know.
yeah. But what's really funny with siblings is that I've now, and it's very rare because I've now interviewed Paul Williams, Guy Williams, and their sister, Maria Williams. So I've interviewed the whole Williams family, right?
Amazing.
And what's interesting, because they're all performers, right? Um, well, Paul Williams is the Alex Horn of New Zealand, and Guy Williams has paid on Taskmaster, and she's paid on the Traitors. So they've all done equally as well. And I do think that that's what's interesting is
Mm.
that they're probably the only siblings I can think of in the history of siblings where they're like age apart, where they've all gone into the performance arts because usually, as we all know, the one of the siblings ends up trying to shout louder than the other. And do you think that that's what's interesting about being siblings is because you've sort of got to like compete, but in that sense, they're really competing against each other.
Yeah, yeah. We so there's so many of us, so like we all do a lot of stuff, but most of us grew up doing performing arts. So one of my brothers is an actor, one of
Yeah.
my sisters is an actor, and one of my brothers is also a stand-up. So
Wow.
yeah, we kind of, but then within that, other ones of them don't perform anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's all a big mixture. So
Yeah.
we're all shouting
Wow.
basically.
That's like the Paul McGann the McGann family because Paul McGann's an actor. One of his brothers is an actor in Call the Midwife. So you've got Paul McGann that's
Oh yes,
a
yes,
do-
yes.
Paul McGann's the doctor in well he does audio doctoring now, but was the doctor. Then you've got his brother that's in Call the Midwife that's a doctor,
The doctor.
and then you've got his other brother that was in a successful ITV sitcom, The Upper Hand. So you've sort of got like who who can compete. None of them are actual doctors, by the way. None of them are
I was
personal
hoping
GPs.
one of them was going to be an actual doctor. That would have
Yeah,
been a good
yeah. They've probably got a doctorate, whether like a
yeah,
fake-ish doctor, but
fake doctor.
yeah, yeah, Doctor McCann. Oh, which one? All three of you.
All of
But
them.
yeah, but I do think that's interesting because siblings are the interesting way of saying, oh yeah, usually the more polar opposites, but the more you think about it, the more siblings are less polar opposites because they're all like obviously like the McGanns are all into acting in some way or form.
Yeah.
One of them's into the Titanic. I can't remember which one, but one of them is. Uh, which is an odd fact to know, but it is. Now, moving swiftly on before I get sidetracked by siblings, twins, triplets, they're the creepiest ones of them all. Because they're like in horror. When you think of horror, you think of twins.
Always twins.
Yeah, always identical twins as well. Um, but moving away slightly, one of the things you've done recently, yes, recently, you might have filmed it a lot further than recently, that I think is absolutely like phenomenal because of it being the fact that the program itself had a tricky begin with because obviously it's a revival of a beloved format, but then obviously the newer
Yeah.
version I think works slightly better. What was it like appearing on a Christmassy, sparkly edition of the show You Bet on Tour, hosted by Mr. Shouty Man himself, Stephen Mulhern?
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. It was so fun. It was really good. We filmed it in July of last year, so
Yeah,
like
wow.
3 year ago now. And it was like one of the hottest days of the year. So it was really because it was like obviously someone was dressed up as Santa and we were dressed up in like, Christmassy
Yeah,
outfits, lots of people wearing like Christmas jumpers and stuff. So it was, yeah, funny because it was, yeah, really busy, like really hot,
yeah,
but like, yeah, this is Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so fun.
yeah,
It was really good. And I was just so terrified that I was going to forget all the punchlines, but thankfully I only forgot one.
yeah. And do you think that you chose the best outfit for the weather?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you hear a lot about like actors saying, "Oh, we filmed this enjoyment to wear like 3 layers of really warm woolly jumpers." You think to yourself, yeah, but someone chose for you to do that. It's not like a particularly, but you had the choice of just say, "I'll wear something that's slightly cool, but says,
Yeah, and then I just put a little Christmas hat on. So
yeah,
it was fine. It was all good.
yeah." But do you think that doing something like that is something you would never have been able to do if you hadn't have decided doing comedy, or do you think that you have that skill anyway before you even started comedy?
Oh no, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do it if I hadn't started doing comedy.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was yeah, a really cool experience.
yeah, and I do think that it's one of those things where you bet on tour. I think works a lot better than you bet in the studio with Mulhern and Hoggle Bugaby because it You Bet on Tour just felt more fresher for the format and felt
Yeah, it was
more
fun, wasn't it?
unique. Yeah,
In loads of different places, which
yeah,
kept it
yeah.
fresh, kept it fun.
Yeah, it's less watching a bloke trying to complete board games in a studio, and it's more someone driving a car really, really fast down a track, and they're all watching on a monitor because it's too far away from them.
Yeah,
I do think it adds to it, but I think the venue that they hosted Christmas special in
that was
uh,
amazing.
felt so, I'm gonna say royal. Did you
Yeah, it
get
was
the sense
cool.
of you're in Buckingham Palace, which you definitely were, but did you feel the sense you were in a royal home?
Yeah, it felt very grand, so it was really cool. And it was, yeah, really nice to like, yeah, to sort of film in it. It was a really cool experience. So it was, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and lifting the curtain ever so slightly, but when the cameras weren't rolling, was Stephen Mulhern as shouty as he comes across? Because he seems very loud on telly.
I don't think so. No, I didn't. To be honest with you, like it was all filmed very, very quickly. So
Yeah,
didn't really get to see anybody that much. It was very much in and out. So
yeah.
yeah, not as shouty as you'd think.
Yeah, because you see him on Deal or No Deal, and he feels like he's one of those people that could only like he's like a robot that gets turned on for like 5 minutes and then
Yeah.
runs out of energy. But he's like really shouty. Sounds like he's trying to shout at like a really deaf person from like the very like an old lady that's like going what from the background. But I don't know why he does that. I mean, isn't nothing wrong with him. He's a very good presenter. He just needs to tone it down ever so slightly. He needs to make sure that he's not as high pitched because he really is just he goes for it. If you've got Stephen Mulhern, you've got Stephen Mulhern.
You have.
You've not just got Noel Edmonds. You've just got Stephen Mulhern at his best. And I'm assuming I don't know if he's got a wife, but I'm assuming his wife's probably fed up if he's like that at home. Yeah, you won't want that. You're trying to get the kids to bed and it's just him
Yeah.
shouting. Oh, that'd be a nightmare. Be awful. But that's nothing wrong with Stephen Mulhern because he's not on telly as much as he once was. So he's getting a lot more people get back into him because he's not on it all the time.
Yeah.
Apart from daytimes on ITV with Deal or No Deal. But do you think that doing not dealing on it, but doing you bet on tour was sort of an experience that you'll always cherish, no matter regardless of what people might think of it, because obviously you bet's a historical format, they're upset with the theme tune change and whatnot. But do you think that that's a memory you'll always take with you?
I think definitely like it was yeah, really fun and it was yeah, something that I haven't done before and it was really cool to do. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hopefully something I'll remember forever.
Yeah. And to go back on a loop to where we were towards the beginning of this interview, the perfect loop, you've now also got a clip to use to share online of
Exactly.
it's not I mean it's a unique clip. Some
It is a
people
unique clip.
some people go into Britain's Got Talent and they've only got stand-up skill as a clip and thinking, oh, well, that's not as unique, but what you've got is something that not many people have. And the other thing that you've now got in your little pocket is when you get on to 8 out of 10 Casters Countdown, and if you happen to be on a Christmas special, they do that thing where Jimmy Carr asks them to fill the rest of the Christmas cracker joke in. So you've also got
I've
that skill
done
to take on board. John
that.
Richardson would be very happy if you were on his team because obviously more bonus points.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, as we draw our interview to a close, could you remind our audience the name of your show, the venue, the time, and where people can buy the tickets to watch and giggle along with you?
Of course. So my show is called Bella Humphries Big Sister Energy. It is on at 3:45 at Hoops Sport at the Apex on Grassmarket, and it's running from the 7th until the 18th of August. You can buy tickets online at the Ed Fringe website or through my Instagram, which is hella.bumfries, or you can most likely go and find them in the box office as well.
Yeah. And so there we have it. Another interview down and another day closer to the fringe. Again, we're not trying to panic anyone. We wish you all the best and all the good lucks for your show at the Edinburgh Fringe. We hope and we assume you will do amazingly. Um, we're going to give the positivity out early doors because obviously it's Monday and the show begins in a few days. Again, we're not trying to panic here, but it does sound like I am, but we're not. I mean, me saying we're not isn't going to help anyone because he's probably panicking anyway, regardless of if anyone keeps on mentioning that it's on Friday. Um, what an odd way to end. So, thank you for watching. There'll be more interviews from me, and if you stick around, we will have a brand new spin-off of One Comedian, Eight Questions, swapping the word comedian to the word performer, which is basically the same format, but we swap out the word comedy and we put in performer so that people of general performance at the Fringe can also have their shows promoted in this fun and interesting manner. So there'll be more from me in all interviews in any style for now and forever until I decide I've had enough. But who knows what day that'll be? Will it be Tuesday? Will it be Monday? Or will it be a Thursday in a few years' time? Who knows? I don't, and I'm just rambling, so we better say goodbye. Cheerio and bye bye. Bye. Yep, they're definitely words.